woman and two men sit at a table looking at laptops and paperwork talking to each other. Figure 6.1 Working on a slide presentation can be done individually or collaboratively, depending on the tools you are using. Credit. Modification of a group of people having a meeting by Darlene Alderson /Pexels, public domain. Chapter outline. 6.1 Presentation and Design Essentials. 6.2 Designing a presentation in Microsoft PowerPoint. 6.3 Formatting Microsoft PowerPoint slides, layout and design principles. 6.4 Adding visuals and features to Microsoft PowerPoint slides. 6.5 Designing a presentation in Google Slides. 6.6 Creating Google Slides, layout and text. 6.7 Adding visuals and features to Google Slides. The ability to communicate your vision and ideas effectively will be critical to your growth and success at WorldCorp. As a new hire, the company's Human Resources Department will ask you to make a presentation introducing yourself to other employees. This assignment has two purposes. First, it allows the company to get to know you better. Second, it trains you in the two most popular presentation software programs, Microsoft PowerPoint and Google Slides. There are other presentation software programs available, such as Prezi, Keynote, or Canva, but PowerPoint and Slides are used more often. This chapter explores the basics of these two programs. PowerPoint launched in 1990 and has grown in complexity with each new iteration of Microsoft Office. It's hard to imagine, but many of the features that users rely on in PowerPoint today were available when it was first released on Windows 3.1. Examples include importing pictures to make them editable, adding transitions between slides in slideshows, incorporating sound and video into slides, and adding changing fonts throughout the presentation. Over the years, the options have expanded. Image and sound quality have become a premium in today's world. PowerPoint has been able to keep up with the ability to process high-definition images and sound. It now includes a design editor that helps users hone their graphic design skills. While PowerPoint provides tools for designing visually appealing presentations, it is not a dedicated graphic design program like Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator. Slides, which debuted in 2006, offers many features similar to those of other presentation programs. Like other Google products, Slides relies on an internet connection. It integrates well with Google Docs and Google Sheets and offers advanced collaboration tools. Slides has continued to advance and adapt to multiple screen types and user needs. Your first WorldCorp presentation is already scheduled. You will need to present my life in a snapshot. This presentation is slated to last for 5 minutes in front of your entire 25-person marketing team. It is designed as a formal introduction in which all new team members participate. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to understand why and when presentations are used in business. Understand the importance of knowing your audience and defining your presentation goals. Describe 2 essential qualities of good digital presentation design. Create an appropriate plan for a presentation, whether we are in front of an audience or in an online meeting. Today's workers should know how to create digital presentations to help communicate their ideas to diverse and different types of audiences. Our starting point is learning how to create a digital presentation or slideshow. Each slide can contain text, pictures, videos, bullet item lists, word art, just about anything. WorldCorp uses presentations for sales, training, internal communication programs, and external communication within its ever-growing community. This is accomplished by using the power of words and imagery to engage audiences. Always keep in mind that the person who delivers a presentation is front and center to their audience. Microsoft PowerPoint and Google Slides are tools to help facilitate the presentation for the presenter, not a distraction that takes away from the presentation. This chapter will help you understand both elements, the person and the program, as you construct your first presentation at WorldCorp called My Life in a Snapshot. Why and when presentations are used in business. WorldCorp is a large, expansive corporation with a vast community of stakeholders. Business presentations in numerous operational settings share information with internal stakeholders such as employees, managers, and executives. They also are used to communicate with external stakeholders such as customers, vendors, shareholders, and the local community. The marketing team and public relations (PR) professionals are typically the ones responsible for communicating messages to external stakeholders. But whatever your title within an organization, you may be expected to know how to build and give presentations. For example, an employee in the human resources (HR) department may be expected to design and present on topics, such as business ethics or sexual harassment training, that are mandatory for all employees. These presentations could be used multiple times to help educate the entire team by using multiple presenters. Or a presentation may show something fun, such as the end of the year awards celebration. A presentation can have any number of purposes, uses, and audiences. Your first presentation as a member of the marketing team will help you make a strong first impression with your coworkers. Presentations typically fall into one of several categories: to educate or train, to sell an idea, or simply to convey information to others. The size of your audience doesn't matter, even a one-on-one meeting may still necessitate the creation of a presentation. The location doesn't matter either. Technology has provided ever-growing opportunities for communicating effectively and efficiently. Often, a Zoom call, sharing a laptop screen, or screencasting to a TV may be the perfect option to conduct a presentation. Keep in mind that a business presentation could be the audience's first introduction to the topic. Audience members will expect the presentation to give them some information they can use to start their decision-making process. As a new hire at WorldCorp, you need to craft a presentation to introduce yourself to the leadership in the marketing department as part of your training program. The My Life in a Snapshot presentation poses a typical workplace presentation challenge. You have a limited amount of time to effectively express a complex topic. My Life in a Snapshot may feel like it takes longer than 5 minutes to fully explain. How can decades of information be condensed into such a narrow window of time? To achieve this, considering your audience's requests and their needs becomes front and center. Understanding your audience and purpose. When you are conducting a presentation, your purpose should not be what you want to do. Instead, it is what you want your audience to do as a result of listening to what you expressed. Your audience will consist of 25 WorldCorp employees. Ask yourself, what am I trying to convey? What is the best way to convey it to my audience? How will my presentation affect them? These are the questions you need to ask when developing a sense of purpose in a presentation. You should also know how long your presentation should be. The recommended length will vary depending on the purpose and content of the presentation. In many cases, the length of your presentation is predefined. In that case, it will be up to you to maximize your use of limited time to cover everything you need to address. Planning, crafting, and practicing your presentation are all critical in ensuring the audience gets the most out of the available time. Essentials of good digital presentation design. By following the best practices and helpful tips outlined here, you will be better able to craft effective digital presentations. 2 important concepts to keep in mind are consistency and coherence. Consistency refers to the presentation having a uniform look and feel. You can achieve this by having a unified color scheme or a defined layout for each slide in the presentation. Coherence, how all the elements work together to communicate the intended purpose of the presentation, includes the slides and the presenters themselves. The purpose or key message of the presentation should be the focal point when creating a presentation. Keeping the purpose at the forefront will help with both consistency and coherence. Consistency and coherence work hand in hand when creating an effective presentation. These 2 concepts will be explained in more detail in the following sections. Consistency as an essential design quality. WorldCorp has developed a corporate-wide PowerPoint design template that makes it easy for team members to maintain consistent brand messaging. Most companies will have established templates and style guides for creating presentations. Consistency is the quality of always behaving or performing in a similar way, or of something always appearing or occurring in a similar way. Font styles, background color themes, and company logos are built into the brand to maintain consistent messaging. WorldCorp's corporate color is blue, as we saw in the previous chapters on creating document files. To be consistent with WorldCorp's brand image, we want the presentation template to follow that same color scheme. All the slides in the template will have a similar layout that includes the slide title and some visual elements with the blue World Corp branding. A consistently designed presentation would not use a different color scheme and layout for each slide. This would appear chaotic and unprofessional. Likewise, you would expect a consistently designed presentation to use similar font types and size on each slide. Figure 6.2 shows an example. Screenshot of a page with World Corp typed in blue at the top right and a blue bar along the bottom. Empty spaces for adding text are included in the middle. Figure 6. Two presentations designed with consistency in mind align with the company's corporate brand, such as using the company logo and color scheme. Used with permission from Microsoft. Coherence as an essential design quality. In addition to slides needing to be consistent in design, the presentation must also be coherent. Each slide should have a logical reason for being a part of the entire slideshow and should connect to the overall purpose of the presentation. Good digital presentation design will enhance both the presenter and whom they represent. As you advance in creating digital presentations at World Corp, design will become part of your own messaging and branding of ideas. In designing a digital presentation, coherency refers to the smooth and logical flow of the slideshow while connecting to the overall message you want to convey. A coherent presentation includes elements and text that are connected to each other logically. For example, if a World Corp employee is presenting a quarterly sales recap for their team, a coherent presentation will be centered on sales data, include visuals and text related to sales goals, and maintain an overall professional and business-like appearance. The presenter should also be dressed in business attire to match the goals of the presentation. See Figure 6.3 for a sample agenda slide for a coherent sales presentation. Screenshot of a presentation slide with the heading Quarterly Sales Meeting Agenda followed by a bulleted list of agenda items, such as quarterly goals, sales summaries, and questions and comments. Figure 6.3. A coherent presentation will have a unified message that is focused on the purpose of the presentation. Used with permission from Microsoft. Create a plan before getting started. To create an effective presentation, you will need to become a storyteller. Start by thinking about how you want the presentation to unfold. As with dividing an essay into paragraphs, you will need to find an easy way to separate out the distinct topics in your presentation while also building a cohesive storyline that connects them. When you choose the ideas that you want to emphasize and the order in which you want to present them, you are building a plan. This plan will help much like developing an outline for a paper. Before you begin designing the storyboard for My Life in a Snapshot, you will want to sketch out, either digitally or by hand, a general plan for the content of each topic. A plan can allow you to organize the content of your presentation in a visual and logical manner. It breaks down the presentation into individual slides and shows the flow and progression of information. This can help ensure that the presentation is clear and easy to follow and that all the important points are covered. Link to learning. One of the tools that can aid the process of developing stories with imagery is a storyboard. A storyboard divides the elements of a story into impactful moments, each with its own setting, characters, and storyline. Writers, directors, cartoonists, all sorts of creators use storyboards. Crafting a workplace presentation shares many of these storytelling best practices. Watch this video to view an example of storyboard creation and storytelling to see how storyboarding can aid in presentation design. For this project, your outline will cover 5 topics. Each topic should be unique, with each section of your presentation clearly distinguished from the next. Let's revisit the example of the quarterly sales goals presentation that we discussed in this chapter's section on coherence as an essential design quality. The presenter wants the presentation to be informative about World Corp's sales performance last quarter, as well as help set the stage for next quarter's goals. One way to approach this is to remind the audience of the sales goals first. Then, present the sales results from this quarter. Next, talk about how the results connect to the overall company goals for the quarter or year. And then, finally, discuss how this quarter's performance can be used to set goals for the next quarter. This linear method can be easily sketched out using the bulleted list tool in Microsoft Word or Google Docs that you learned about in previous chapters. You can then use this outline to create the slides for the presentation. Figure 6.4 shows an example of a presentation plan using a bulleted list. You could create a similar outline for your My Life in a snapshot presentation to help you plan out the slides and flow of the presentation. A bulleted outline list is visible with a title and black dots for the main topics, followed by blank circles and then black squares for the subtopics. Figure 6. For a good starting point for a presentation is to put together an outline of the key information you want to share. Each top-level bullet point could be its own slide, used with permission from Microsoft. Once you have your presentation planned out, you will need to revisit its length and whether your plan can be achieved within the amount of time that you have. Rather than rewriting the entire presentation, you can look at your presentation in terms of topics and see which topics can be lengthened or shortened. For example, if you think your presentation will take 20 minutes but you have only 10 minutes, start by considering whether you've devoted too much time to the introduction. You could also consider which details, examples, or other potentially extraneous information to remove to shorten other sections. Remember, you don't need to cut an entire topic out of your presentation if you can shorten it instead. With time and practice, you will learn how to make fine adjustments to the different topics in your presentation. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to create a new slideshow from a blank presentation, create a presentation from a theme or template, understand the functions of the Home tab, understand the functions of the Design tab, understand the functions of the View tab. At WorldCorp, Microsoft PowerPoint presentations are used company-wide for a variety of purposes, such as presenting quarterly sales data or providing training for new sales personnel. As part of the Microsoft 365 suite, PowerPoint has characteristics similar to those of other programs such as Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. PowerPoint is divided into various tabs, which appear across a ribbon that helps you organize your actions. In general, creating a storyboard or outline of a presentation, as outlined in the previous section, is a great starting point, and this is the approach we will use to build My Life in a snapshot. To get started, this section provides an overview of the PowerPoint program, with a review of several tabs within the ribbon that you will use to develop your first slideshow from scratch. As we start using the primary elements of PowerPoint, you will begin to develop an understanding of how the program works with examples to provide context. The vast capabilities of PowerPoint enable WorldCorp employees to present complex ideas, facts, and figures in the form of easily digestible visuals. Allowing users to create visual representations of information on the blank canvas slides can allow viewers to interpret, engage with, and expound on what they're seeing. Let's begin by using the blank canvas approach to crafting a presentation. Getting started. Open PowerPoint and choose a blank presentation, the first option. You should see a screen that looks like Figure 6.5 with an arrow highlighting the desired choice. If you want to open an existing presentation, select Open from the left sidebar and search for the file. Another option is to start with a PowerPoint template, a predestined set of slides that you can use as a starting point for creating a new PowerPoint presentation. Templates include a defined layout and color scheme, and they often include sample text and images that you can replace with your own content. Using templates is a way to save time and ensure consistency in the design of your presentation. Like many organizations, WorldCorp has a preset template that is often used for external communications, such as presentations for clients. However, for the My Life in a Snapshot presentation, you are not restricted to using the template, as this is an internal presentation and is more informal. In this example, you will start with a blank presentation. After opening this blank document by double-clicking on Blank Presentation, you should save it to your computer or to the cloud using a file name that is identifiable to the content of the presentation. As seen in Figure 6.5, select the Blank Presentation option on the home screen indicated by the arrow. A screenshot of the PowerPoint home page highlighting the blank presentation selection from a variety of options. Figure 6.5 choosing blank presentation in PowerPoint means you will start your presentation from scratch, used with permission from Microsoft. In a blank presentation, the initial slide PowerPoint provides is blank except for two placeholders, one for the title and one for the subtitle. When you choose a blank presentation, none of the design elements are defined in advance. The title slide layout that is provided by PowerPoint can quickly be altered. Most presentations should have a title. Additionally, the program opens to the Home tab found within the ribbon, as seen in Figure 6.6. Now, the blank canvas is ready for you to craft my life in a snapshot for your team at WorldCorp. A screenshot of a blank PowerPoint presentation page with 2 boxes visible with suggestions for fonts and locations for inserting text. Figure 6.6. After selecting blank presentation, PowerPoint provides loose guidance on where to place a title and subtitle. You can delete these boxes if desired, used with permission from Microsoft. Creating a presentation with themes and templates. Many companies tend to already have a theme developed for use with company presentations. A presentation's theme refers to the overall design and layout of the slides, including elements such as color scheme, font choices, and graphic elements. Themes are useful because they give you an easy way to create a consistent presentation by using preset fonts and color schemes. If you had chosen a theme instead of a blank presentation, the initial slide would show the same elements, but with the design features of the theme applied. A theme can also include predesigned slide layouts, which can be used to create a cohesive and consistent look throughout the presentation. Within the new tab, as seen in Figure 6.7, selecting a theme allows the designer to set the tone and style of the presentation, which can help to engage the audience and convey the message more effectively. Themes can be either built-in or custom-made, depending on the software you are using. PowerPoint offers numerous themes that you can apply and search for in the search window. A screenshot of a PowerPoint menu with an arrow pointing to New. On the right, blank presentation and a display of 6 thumbnails of different themes are available for selection, as well as a search bar and suggested searches. Figure 6.7. PowerPoint shows thumbnails of the different themes, allowing the user to get an idea of the style and color palette of each one before selecting the one they want. Used with permission from Microsoft. Another option that users have is to select a template instead of just a theme. Unlike a theme, a template is a blueprint of a group of slides that can help meet the topic of a presentation. Templates can contain layouts, fonts, colors, and background styles much like a theme. Much like a resume template in Word, for instance, a template in PowerPoint prompts the user, suggesting sections and topics to include. As an example, a classic conference presentation might have a specific cadence and style. Slides will be arranged to meet the needs of a conference with suggested slides and topics to include. Theme and template options are worth considering and searching for, especially if a theme matches the overall type of presentation you plan to create. There are benefits to creating a PowerPoint presentation from a theme. First, this approach provides consistency. The program will offer multiple slides with various concepts, all using the same color pattern, style, and texture. A theme allows users to focus on the presentation message without distraction from differing designs, although it does not necessarily guarantee that they will understand the message. Additionally, starting with a theme ensures that all the slides in the presentation will have a professional aesthetic design and layout, making it look polished. Aesthetics is the study of how things look and how we perceive and respond to them. It can also refer to the overall look and feel of something, for example, the aesthetics of a website or a building. PowerPoint themes often include a multitude of predesigned slide layouts, which can save time and effort in creating your presentation. You can click into the various text boxes or image boxes to provide the required content, copying the desired layouts that work best for you and deleting those that don't. Real-world application. Marketing toolkits. Most companies now offer their internal stakeholders marketing toolkits to use. Marketing toolkits provide users with the logos, color schemes, outlines, photo depositories, and ideas on what the company is looking for when designing marketing materials. Digital presentation information is almost always included in the toolkit. With advances in cell phone technology and social media's growing presence in our lives, companies can now maximize their marketing reach by enlisting their entire workforce into marketing. By providing accessible content for creators and guidelines, any employee can now be a part of promoting their employer. Not all employees will embrace a marketing toolkit. It is only as effective as leadership and the culture of the company allow. See if any companies you know have a marketing toolkit online. Does the company toolkit offer guidelines for PowerPoint presentations? Presentations to external stakeholders can be a valuable marketing opportunity. The themes that PowerPoint provides can be customized to reinforce your company's image and message by matching the company's branding and style. The visual design and layout of themes can be chosen to convey the message or tone of the presentation in a more effective way, which can make it more engaging for the audience. These themes can also be easily modified to include different colors, fonts, and graphics, allowing you to personalize the presentation while still maintaining a consistent design. Home tab themes are helpful, but to learn PowerPoint more deeply, you will also need to learn how to create a presentation from scratch. Start by getting to know the Home tab. The tools found on the Home tab are used to create the general structure of the slideshow, as seen in Figure 6.8. As an introduction to this group of tools, we will review 5 key commands which are circled in the figure. New Slide Layout tab, the tools in the Font command group, the tools in the Paragraph command group, and Design Ideas. A Home tab screenshot displays these options highlighted. New Slide and Layout inside Slides command group, Font and Paragraph command groups, and Design Ideas inside Designer command group. Figure 6.8. The Home tab houses 5 foundational commands in PowerPoint. New Slide, Layout, Font, Paragraph, and Design Ideas, used with permission from Microsoft. Using the outline laid out in Figure 6.9, you can create a slideshow from a blank document to present to the team. From here, you can see how a well-planned presentation of ideas can be created in the form of a PowerPoint slideshow. 5 cards are tacked with pushpins, each listing a header, 1 introduction, 2 strengths and skills, 3 team member, 4 goals, and 5 conclusion. Notes follow under each header about the topic. Figure 6.9. A storyboard works well to help plan out your presentation before you start designing the slides. New Slide. Following the outline in Figure 6.9, the presentation requires 5 distinct groups of information arranged in numerical order with subtopics. In PowerPoint, you will want to add 5 slides, each of which will represent one of these groups. To do this, go to the New Slide command group and with your mouse, select the green button on New Slide 4 times. Reminder: PowerPoint provides the first slide by default. Note that you can change the layout at any time after creating a slide. For this exercise, any layout will do to get started. The default layout provided is fine. Once complete, there should be 5 slides listed in the thumbnail pane on the left side of the screen. Figure 6.10 shows the first 2 of 5. You can then use the thumbnail feature to click in and out of individual slides as we develop and edit content that meets the storyboard criteria. A screenshot of the left side of a PowerPoint presentation displaying the first 2 slides. The New Slide button in the Slides command group is indicated. Figure 6.10. Your presentation screen should show 5 slides going down the left side. The figure shows the first 2, used with permission from Microsoft. Now that you have created 5 new slides, you can edit and format them. It's a good idea to use the same steps to edit and format each. For example, you might create a step called Adding Text, ensuring that every slide that needs text will receive text. The first slide, which is similar to a cover page for the presentation, requires a standard title and subtitle, and these are provided by default. Layout. The next command in the Home tab, see Figure 6.8, is Layout tab. When you open the drop-down menu in Layout, you will see that PowerPoint offers 9 basic layout options, which are designed to provide variety, balance, and consistency to each presentation design. One of the options is Blank. This layout gives you a blank white canvas to build from, enabling you to design an infinite number of layouts. For your WorldCorp presentation example, use the default layout title slide for the first slide. A title slide is a slide layout that provides space for a title and a subtitle. Note that you are not using a template here. To add your content, click into each text box provided. It says click to add title and click to add subtitle. Start by typing My Life in a Snapshot in the first text box. In the second text box, type your name, followed by your title at WorldCorp and your geographic location, as seen in Figure 6.11. A screenshot of a PowerPoint presentation title slide filled in with the title in large text and a line of smaller text underneath. Other blank slides are visible on the left. Figure 6. 11 Slide number 1 is a title slide with 2 lines for you to fill out. Used with permission from Microsoft. Next, in the thumbnail panel, select each slide and change the layout for the rest of the slides. Depending on the content of your presentation, it can be helpful to have different layouts on different slides. This presentation will use 3 different layouts to accommodate different types of information. Follow along by selecting each slide from the thumbnails, then selecting the Home tab, followed by selecting the Layout option from the ribbon. You can choose to have information on the slide presented in a different way by changing the slide layout. For example, you could have 2 groupings of text side by side, as is shown in Figure 6.12, or have the content on the slide grouped all in one area. Make sure to change the layout setting so it accurately reflects the recommendations found in Figure 6.12. Screenshots of a PowerPoint, a page with title, B. Page with 2 blank boxes to add text and images, and C. A page with 3 blank boxes to add text and images. Figure 6.12a. The title slide layout has large text to display the title of your presentation. B. One layout option is to have a title for the slide with one grouping of text under related to the title. C. Yet another layout option is to put 2 groupings of text on the slide displayed side by side. Used with permission from Microsoft. Font choice plays a big role in PowerPoint presentations. Each letter, number, or symbol on a slide can be adjusted to a specific design. Using these options allows you to make your text more visually appealing. The process for selecting or changing a font is similar to the way you change a font's details in Word. In PowerPoint, however, you will often have much less text to manipulate than in a Word file, and the text is usually much larger so an audience can easily view the information from a distance. When you change font characteristics, be sure to choose what will best meet the audience's needs. There are a few easy rules of thumb to follow when you create text for a presentation to a large audience. One of them is what's known as the 7-7 rule, that each slide should have no more than 7 lines of text, and each line of text should have no more than 7 words. This will help prevent you from relying on punctuation or sentence structure to convey your message. When it's necessary to communicate via paragraphs of text, Word may be a better tool to distribute those types of communication either as handouts along with the presentation or in lieu of the presentation altogether. But remember, this is only a rule of thumb. It is acceptable to deviate by a few words or lines based on the message and content of the presentation. The point is to keep the slides clear and simple and not to distract from the presenters themselves. Best practices can be a great help in keeping the audience front and center in your mind and staying focused on the purpose of your presentation. Fill in the required text as displayed in Figure 6.13. As with changing the layouts, click on each thumbnail, select the required text box, change the font to meet your needs, including the type and color of the font, and adjust the font size as needed. Type the required information. This will be your chance to start explaining who you are to your team, and then make sure to review your work for any errors. Take your time. Word choice can be a challenging task. Make sure that every slide is accounted for. Then you're ready to move on to the next step of designing my life in a snapshot. Screenshots of PowerPoint slides, a title page, B, C, and D information pages, and E and any questions. Page at the end in similar fonts and styles. Figure 6.13. It can be helpful to choose a font style and size at the planning stage, even before your slides are final. Filling in the information in slides A through E will help you better visualize the presentation content from the audience's perspective. Used with permission from Microsoft. A variety of presentation styles are available, so be sure to take note of the things you like and dislike in the presentations you attend as you develop your own style preferences. Consider the contrast between the text and the background. How easy is it to read the text while listening to a presenter? Does the text work both compressed on a laptop screen, as in a Zoom call, and displayed on a 176-inch projector screen designed for a room full of people? You will notice that the font size and choice are large and easy to read in this project. Later, as you explore the many available options, you are likely to find that the text font needs to match the theme of the presentation. Next, consider the text. Is this the appropriate content to display? As an example, in Figure 6.14, you can compare the options for our closing slide choice. Is the use of a graphic image of a question mark the best option, or would a written question, as in the center image, be more effective? In some cases, a combination of pictures and text may work best. There is no perfect answer. PowerPoint gives you many options, but at some point you will need to make decisions. No matter how creative the formatting of the text, a combination of content may be a better option when deciding what layout and kinds of content to use. Screenshots of 3 slides. First one with black and blue colors and a question mark, the middle one with text and minimal colors, and the last one with colors, images, and text. Figure 6. 14 different types of content on a slide, picture only, text only, or a combination of text and picture, can convey different messages to your audience. Used with permission from Microsoft. Paragraph. Both the font and the paragraph options have functionality only when a text box has been selected. As with the paragraph options, Office offers a helpful array of choices for line spacing, adding bullets, numbering, aligning text, and adding or removing columns. If the default bullet points or line spacing options provided in the text box layouts are incorrect or missing, this can be a place to add or change the required element. You can make changes within a text box either by selecting the entire text box or by selecting only the location you want to change. Design Ideas Designer. The latest option group Microsoft has built into the newest PowerPoint versions is the Design Ideas tab, also called the Designer tab in different versions of PowerPoint. Refer again to Figure 6.8. This is an on-off button that provides advanced slide layouts and smart options when turned on. The Design Ideas feature increases the options available to you as the content creator of My Life in a Snapshot, or any presentation you may be called on to create. Select the first slide in your presentation, which is typically the title slide, and type in the title of the presentation. As the title is added, you can see how quickly a few words can shape an entire slide. Turn on the Design Ideas option in the Home tab. You will notice several options to the right of the screen. These options are often unique to the words and layout you provide. In this step, select an option that fits your personality, and the transformation will occur. An example is provided in the comparison Figure 6.15 from an employee who started not too long ago in WorldCorp's South Asian marketing division. The image on the left was the general text the WorldCorp team member typed into the default title slide layout. The image on the right is the option they chose that best matched their personality, which was created and offered by the designer in PowerPoint. Keep in mind that the Design Ideas option is available for only one slide at a time. Because the Design Ideas option was turned on, it reviewed the text within the text boxes and considered several complete design options that could apply. Starting with a very limited bit of information, the Design Ideas option could add multimedia content, 3D models, pictures, background themes, alter the text alignment, color, size, and formatting, change the layout, and create an entire theme representing the keywords on the page. It could even add simple animations, such as a snowflake background with snowflakes gently falling. Having these action components is like having an entire production team on call to quickly merge your ideas with existing collaborative content to make exquisite slides. The top image displays a page with plain black text on a white background. The second image is the same text in an artistic layout with a multicolored background. Figure 6.15. The Design Ideas feature can create themes and layout combinations based on your specific presentation. Used with permission from Microsoft. Design tab. Instead of using the Design Ideas feature, you may want to design your PowerPoint yourself. The wide range of design options in PowerPoint allows you to change the overall look and feel of your presentation quickly and easily. By using the built-in templates, color schemes, and slide layouts, you can transform the roughed-out text that you added earlier to polished, professional-looking presentation slides without spending much time and effort on design. You will learn more about this process in the chapter on giving presentations. Rather than using the Design Ideas feature, which only formats a single slide at a time, The Design tab provides a collection of tools for altering color schemes and layout designs for all of the slides at once. For example, you could change your entire color palette with just a few clicks of the mouse, applying the design to all the slides according to their predefined layout. Additionally, the option to change the slide layout makes it easy to organize the information in a way that is easy for the audience to follow and understand. In summary, the Design tab in PowerPoint will help to make the process of creating a presentation faster, easier, and more professional looking, by allowing you to communicate your message in the best possible way for your audience. Building new content for presentations is like building anything else. To do a professional job, you need professional tools and you need to know how to use them. Now it's time to select the design and variation recommended in Figure 6.16. The first command group on the Design tab focuses on themes. Each theme is unique and modifiable. We have a particular theme we want you to use for the remainder of your slides. Hold down the Control key on your keyboard Control. With your mouse, select slides 2, 3, 4, and 5 from the thumbnails. Go to the top of the screen and choose the themes circled in Figure 6.16. The theme will be applied to only the slides you selected. Your uniquely designed title slide will remain. Remember to save your work. You will quickly notice how themes and variations can elevate your design. Designer in the Designer command group is selected. Slides 2-5 are a similar style, red, brown, and beige, while slide 1 is a different style, purple and green. Figure 6.16, selecting the Design tab and changing the theme and variation of the slides that were selected. Slides 2-5 allows the title slide to be different but brings consistency to the remaining slides. Used with permission from Microsoft. For more ideas, you can turn to the Design Ideas pane at the right of the slide area, as shown in Figure 6.16. Note that in this figure, the Design Ideas option is called Designer. For even more ideas, click on See More Design Ideas at the bottom of the pane. This can be accomplished by selecting a particular slide. On the ribbon on the Design tab, the Designer Design Ideas option will illuminate on the far right side. Click on the icon and then scroll down, and you can click again on See More Design Ideas. If you have Microsoft 365, your app will be updated as designers add new themes. The next command group on the Design tab is titled Variants. Variants are essentially modifications you can make within a single theme. These provide a way to add a different overall look. This group initially displays 4 different color schemes to use with your theme. It lets you change the color combinations, font, or background, or add special effects. For every theme you choose, you can alter the color scheme and font combination, title, and regular text. Make sure in your slideshow for My Life in a snapshot that you have selected both the theme and the corresponding variation of the theme. Figure 6.17 displays other variant settings that you can customize, including fonts, effects, and background styles. These options can be accessed in the Design tab within the Variants ribbon using the down arrow option. Colors, fonts, effects, and background styles all become options with a multitude of choices. A screenshot of the Variants command group lists these options: colors, fonts, effects, and background styles, as well as thumbnail images. Figure 6.17. These are the options offered in the Variants command group. Think of them as variations on a theme or a deeper level of control over your design. Used with permission from Microsoft. Selecting the arrow to the right for colors extends a drop-down list that displays many preset color scheme possibilities, plus a Customize Colors option that allows you to change all of the colors in a scheme. The font variant lets you pick different fonts for title text and body text. The effects variant, or artistic effects, applies a graphic effect or filter to your slides, such as making them look like a sketch or a painting. Effects can be applied to a single slide or to all slides within the presentation. The last command group on the Design tab is Customize, which gives options to change the slide size and format the background appearance. You won't need to use this option for your first presentation, but it is a helpful tool to learn for your future presentations. The Slide Size command offers 2 principal choices of aspect ratio, which is the relationship of the slide's width to its height. Standard, compatible with older screen sizes with an aspect ratio of 4:3, and widescreen for today's HD environment with an aspect ratio of 16:9. 9, Figure 6.18. A screenshot of the editor clicking slide size in the Customize command group on the Design tab. Options that open include Standard, Widescreen, and Customize slide size. Figure 6.18. Changing the aspect ratio will apply to your whole presentation. Used with permission from Microsoft. Also found in the Customize group of commands is the Format Background command. Click on it and you will see the menu as shown in Figure 6.19. This command lets you change the background of a slide by changing the fill to a solid color, gradient fill, pattern fill, and so on. Select Fill and then hover over each of the circles to see the available color and background options. A screenshot of the Format Background button in the Customize command group opening to list fill options, gradient fill selected. The slide goes from light blue at top to darker blue at bottom. Figure 6.19. This customized background makes use of a gradient fill, used with permission from Microsoft. Format Background contains all the options for changing the background. Solid fill, gradient fill, picture or texture fill, and pattern fill. Each option has its own set of elements to adjust. Solid fill is just that, choose a solid color for your background. Gradient fill lets you choose the way the color is spread across the slide, the intensity or transparency of the color, and the shape the background effect follows as it moves across the slide. Finally, you can fill the background with a pattern or a photo. There are many ways to customize a theme to meet your specific needs. Different color combinations, fonts, effects, and background styles are all elements you can use to customize your presentation. Even small changes may be transformative. View tab. The next tab to review is the View tab. To have a basic understanding of PowerPoint, you will need to know the general purpose of several view options. Within the View ribbon, there are 7 command groups. The first 3 are circled in Figure 6.20, starting with Presentation Views. Screenshot of View tab with Presentation Views, Normal, Outline View, Slide Sorter, Notes Page, Reading View, Master Views, Slide Master, Handout Master, Notes Master, and Show, Ruler, Gridlines, Guides, Notes, command groups highlighted. Figure 6.20. PowerPoint has many different options for viewing your presentation, from both viewer and behind-the-scenes perspectives. You can zoom in on areas, enlarge the screen entirely, view the elements in different colors, and arrange the windows so you can click through them more easily. Used with permission from Microsoft. When creating slides, you will typically work with the normal view, the default view that PowerPoint opens within a new presentation, Figure 6.21. The large window shows the current slide, and the other slides are shown as thumbnails down the left side of the window. The large window gives you plenty of room to focus on developing content and layout for each slide, while you can also jump in and out of each slide through the thumbnails. Outline view shows a list of the slides on the left, highlighting the text rather than the actual slides as pictures. In outline view, you can scroll through the text of each slide rather than having to jump in and out of individual slides. This can be a great aid when reviewing or organizing text, as seen in Figure 6.22. You may have noticed that we changed our title slide to match the theme of the rest of the slides. Now the presentation has a more consistent design. A screenshot of the View tab with Normal selected in the Presentation Views command group. Thumbnails of the presentation pages are visible at the left. Figure 6.21. In Normal View, you can see thumbnails of your presentation. Used with permission from Microsoft. A screenshot of the View tab with Outline View selected in the Presentation Views command group. The presentation is visible in outline form at the left, no thumbnails are visible. Figure 6.22. In contrast, Outline View only shows an outline of the text on the slide. Used with permission from Microsoft. Slide Sorter is an option that lays out slides in order, allowing you to move them around with a drag and drop of the mouse. This view is useful when you want to add or delete a slide or change their order. For example, suppose a team member creates a photo album to introduce themselves, with each slide consisting of a single photo. If they select 30 photos, creating an album with 30 slides, Slide Sorter view can help them edit the album by adding or deleting a photo and by arranging the photos in the desired order. In my life in a snapshot with only 5 slides to edit, this view would be overkill. But with a larger presentation with many more slides, a Slide Sorter view can be a helpful option. Notes view or notes page displays a single slide with the notes below the text or image. These notes are typically designed for the speaker. They may be reminders, citations, or any various notes that the presenter wants to have at their fingertips. This can be handy when a user wants to add or edit a large amount of text. If, for example, they have a lot of text on a slide but are not sure yet which words might be best to highlight for the audience, this area of notes can provide a collection place for content. The reading view displays slides one at a time, as they would appear in a slideshow. Utilizing the view option allows you to take any one of the 5 slides and adjust the size of text boxes and change alignments, all while seeing most of the screen. The Master Views option group may be a bit advanced for this introductory review, but we will provide a brief example. Within this group, the slide master is simply a template of the slide, breaking apart the individual components of the slide layout. This is a time-saving method for creating professional and consistent presentations. You can start with one of the PowerPoint themes or a blank slide, add or change the colors, add borders, change the font, and change or create a layout of your own. You can insert text boxes and object placeholders. When you do this on a master slide, you create a template that unifies the slides in a slideshow. When you have completed a slide that you want to keep as a master slide, select File, Save As, choose a location, and in File Type, choose PowerPoint Template. This is now a master slide template that you can use repeatedly. Handouts Master and Notes Master are specialized viewing modes for specific tasks. The Handouts Master options allow developers to create a template for the PowerPoint printed handout for audience members. Slides can be arranged, titles, dates, and notes can be laid out. Within the Notes Master option group, the view of the slides and printable notes can be arranged as you desire. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to format the layout of each slide, understand best practices in design principles. It's time to transform the 5 slides from my life in a snapshot by manipulating the layout and adding options. Formatting the layout of each slide in Microsoft PowerPoint is the process of adding, subtracting, and/or adjusting the arrangement of elements such as text, images, and shapes on a slide. You may want to format the layout of a slide in PowerPoint to make it more visually appealing and effective for your audience. PowerPoint includes many options for altering the layout of the slide. The slide layout can be changed by using the tool on the Home tab in the Slides command group. From the Home tab, select Layout tab from the Slides command group. Here, you will see a listing and image of the layout options. We have used 3 types of layouts in my life in a snapshot. Here are some commonly used slide layouts. Title slide. This layout includes a title and subtitle and is typically used for the first slide of a presentation. Title and content. This layout includes a title, subtitle, and 1 or 2 content boxes that you can use for text or media. This layout is typically used to give an overview of the presentation and the main topics to be covered. Comparison. This layout includes 2 content boxes, which can be used to present different types of information, such as text and images, or to compare and contrast 2 pieces of information. Section header. This layout is used to create a slide that can be used as a header for a section of a presentation. It typically includes a title and subtitle with a distinctive design. Content with caption. This layout includes a content box and a caption box, which can be used to present a single image or other media and provide additional information about it. These common PowerPoint slide layouts can help you create a clear and effective presentation structure. You can add, remove, or customize placeholders as you need, as well as use combinations of these layouts to create a unique, personalized presentation. PowerPoint also offers a variety of built-in slide layouts that you can use to create different types of slides. Formatting layout. When you design your slide layouts, arranging text boxes and other objects becomes key in making sure they are positioned in an effective manner. In this section, we will review the Alignment Guides option within the View tab and discuss the numerous built-in layout designs that PowerPoint can offer. Alignment Guides. As stated previously, getting things to look exactly how you want them to appear next to each other is crucial to maximizing the design power of PowerPoint. But it can be difficult to align objects with other objects on a single slide or objects with text using only your mouse. Under the View tab, you will find a helpful alignment tool that you can access by checking the Guides box. When this box is checked, there will be two dashed lines on the presentation slide, one centered vertically and the other centered horizontally. When you hover your mouse over one of these lines while holding down the Control key, the cursor turns into a double line with arrows. Drag the line to where you want one guideline to be and let go of the mouse. When you do this, another line is created. Mac tip. Hold down the Option key, not the Control key, to turn your cursor into a double line with arrows. You can continue to add guidelines anywhere on your slide to insert and align objects, text boxes, photos, and so forth. In the section on adding visuals and features to Microsoft PowerPoint slides, we will cover inserting objects and images. See Figure 623 for a visual example of what the guides look like after adding them to a slide. If you see that the Guides box is checked but no lines are apparent, just uncheck it and check it again. That will usually bring the guides back into view. A screenshot of the View tab with guides selected in the Show command group. Dashed lines in a grid pattern of varying sizes are visible on the page labeled Alignment Guides. Figure 6.23. The lightly colored dashed lines set off a narrow margin around the slide. Used with permission from Microsoft. Link to learning. Not every presentation has to be delivered by a person. There are many reasons why creating a self-running presentation is valuable. Many companies will design a presentation that can be left unattended in a booth or kiosk, at a trade show or convention, or saved as a video and sent to a client list. A self-running presentation can also help address time-related constraints. Read Microsoft's steps for creating a self-running slideshow in PowerPoint to learn more. Design principles. In this section, you will learn about some basic design principles that are best practices for designing your own slides or choosing a theme for your presentation. You'll find out how to use proximity, alignment, repetition, contrast, and white space to make your design elements stand out. Proximity. In photography, proximity refers to nearness, the distance between the camera and the subject being photographed. In the context of PowerPoint, it refers to the distance between the audience and the subject matter being presented. You can control the relative proximity within a PowerPoint slide. In photography, proximity can affect the composition of the photograph by changing the relative sizes of the elements in the frame. For example, if the camera is positioned close to a small subject, the subject may appear larger in the frame. If the camera is positioned farther away, the subject may appear smaller. The proximity of the camera to the subject can also influence the overall look of the photograph. A photograph taken from a close distance may have a more intimate or detailed appearance, while one taken from farther away may have a more distant or expansive look. Proximity is an important consideration in designing PowerPoint layouts because it can affect the composition, perspective, and overall look of each slide. In Figure 6.24, you can see two different sizes of the budget sheet. The first one is effective for an overall view of what the document looks like. The second one is more effective if you want the audience to be able to read it. If so, it's preferable to zoom in as close as possible to that content. A budget sheet in small font at the right with a large image at the left, and B, the same budget sheet in larger font with small graphics along the bottom. Figure 6.24. These slides show two examples of proximity as it relates to how information is displayed to the audience. A displays a chart with a distant proximity to the subject matter, and B displays the same information, but with the audience in closer proximity. Used with permission from Microsoft. Alignment. Aligning objects or text on a page adds organization and creates a sense of cohesion, making your content in general more usable. When alignment exists on a slide, the human eye knows where to focus, and the slide is more comfortable to view. In PowerPoint, alignment is the way that text, images, and other elements are positioned on a slide. Proper alignment is important because it helps to create a cohesive, professional-looking presentation. When elements on a slide are aligned, they are more visually balanced, which can make the slide look more organized and appealing to the audience. Properly aligned elements can help guide the viewer's eye and create a natural flow from one element to the next, making the presentation easier to follow and understand. In addition to the Guides checkbox that we reviewed in the section on formatting layout, There are also checkboxes for rulers and grid lines. Ticking these boxes will show additional lines on the slide that will help you align your slide elements. Repetition. Repetition is the use of similar or identical elements such as colors, fonts, or design elements across multiple slides in a presentation. In a slideshow, repetition, especially when similar elements are repeated across multiple slides, can make the presentation feel more polished and professional and make it easy for the audience to follow and understand. Repetition also promotes a consistent look and feel for the presentation. Repetition of important elements such as headings or key points can establish a visual hierarchy that guides the viewer's eye and makes your presentation easier to follow. Repetition of visual elements is a good way of reinforcing the key points you want to establish with the audience because they know where to look. In this way, repetition makes the main message of your presentation more memorable and connected for the audience. Contrast. In presentations, contrast refers to the use of different elements such as colors, fonts, and other design elements to focus attention and create visual interest. You may want to use contrasting colors such as complementary colors or light and dark shades, or contrasting fonts, such as a bold or decorative font for headings and a simple font for body text. Using contrast helps create a hierarchy and makes your presentation easier to follow. Using contrasting design elements such as different shapes or patterns can help to add visual interest and break up the slide into distinct sections. Overall, contrast is a useful tool in presentations because it can help to draw attention, create visual interest, and make the presentation more effective and engaging for the audience. Notice how in the new title slide of My Life in a Snapshot Figure 621, the title is in large font, the subtitle is in small font, and the colors used are off-white, red, and black. The different font sizes and colors contrast with one another and create an engaging, yet professional, appearance. White space. The last design element to consider within this section is white space. White space, also known as negative space, is the unoccupied areas of a slide that are not filled with text or other content. By leaving enough white space around text and other elements, you can make the content easier to read and understand. White space can be used to create visual interest by creating balance and separating different elements on the slide. By surrounding a key point or element with white space, you can draw attention to it and make it stand out. Additionally, using white space consistently throughout a presentation can help to create a cohesive look and feel. It is an important element of slide design and can be used in a variety of ways to enhance the readability, visual appeal, and effectiveness of a presentation. Filling your slides with text or images will make them look too busy and hard for your audience to read. Using the designer tool to suggest different layouts can help add white space and sustain interest throughout the presentation with aesthetically pleasing slides. Another principle that underlies all the design principles reviewed in this section is known as the rule of thirds. This is a basic principle of photography and design that suggests that an image can be divided into 9 equal parts by 2 equally spaced horizontal lines and 2 equally spaced vertical lines. It is essentially a tic-tac-toe game board, real-world application. Applying the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds theory suggests that if you place the important elements of the image along these lines, or at their intersections, your photo or design will be more balanced and will have more visual interest. By placing the main subject of your photo or design along one of the lines or at an intersection, you can create a sense of tension and dynamism that draws the viewer's eye into the image. Additionally, using the rule of thirds can help you avoid placing the subject of your image dead center every time, which can make for a static and uninteresting composition. Although the rule of thirds is not a hard and fast rule, it is a useful guideline that can help you create more visually appealing and dynamic compositions in your slide creations and layouts. Figure 6.25 provides an example of a grid created according to the rule of thirds. A screenshot of a grid 3x3 with red stars located at the bottom right of the top left and middle boxes and the middle right of the bottom left box. Figure 6.25. This is an example of how you might set up alignment guides using the rule of thirds. The red stars show some of the ideal positions to place either text or images. Used with permission from Microsoft. There are other composition models you can use as well. The point is that in design, composition is the basis of it all. You want a well-composed layout and placement of text and images, aligned so that the eye moves easily about the slide. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to add tables to slides to organize and present data in a grid format. Insert images into slides. Add written information to slides. Use symbols to enhance visual appeal. Include equations to represent complex mathematical concepts. Utilize word art to maximize the impact of text. Use the tools in the illustrations command group to increase the design appeal of slides. Adding visuals and features to Microsoft PowerPoint slides makes your presentation more engaging and interesting for the audience. It's best to do this after the text has been formatted and the general layout established. Visuals such as images, charts, and videos can help to break up text and make the presentation more visually appealing, keeping the audience engaged and making it easier for the audience to understand and remember the information. Additionally, using relevant, high-quality images will help make your presentation look more professional. Adding tables. A table in PowerPoint is a structure for organizing and presenting data in a grid format. It is similar to the table feature in Microsoft Word. In Figure 626, the table option has been selected within the Insert tab. You will not need to include a table in your My Life in a Snapshot presentation, but tables are regularly included in professional presentations. Screenshot of the Insert tab in PowerPoint with table selected and an open pane with a 3x5 table highlighted on a 10x8 grid and Insert table, Draw table, and Excel spreadsheet options. Figure 6.26. The Insert table option on the Insert tab of PowerPoint is identical to inserting a table in Word. Used with permission from Microsoft. There is a grid located directly under the table option, followed by Insert table. Using the mouse, click and hold to select the desired number of cells you want to include. In the figure, a 3x5 table has been highlighted, specifically 3 cells horizontally and 5 cells vertically. A 10x8 grid is provided, but if this size is too limiting, the Insert table option enables you to build a grid all the way up to 75x75. Keep in mind that the facts and figures contained in your table need to be visible and easy for your audience to understand. The Draw table option allows you to create a table by literally drawing it on your slide. As you select the option, the cursor becomes a pencil. You can first draw the table border and then sketch out cells that meet your needs. This option is especially useful when you're not looking for a perfectly symmetrical grid. If you prefer to create tables within Microsoft Excel, you may prefer the last option within the table group, Microsoft Excel, which opens an Excel worksheet inside the slide. You will have to save the Excel sheet as its own document, but it will be stored within the PowerPoint slide. Adding images. The Images command group, located to the right of the Insert table option, gives you the following options: pictures, screenshot, and photo album. In general, an image is a visual representation of a scene, object, or information, often captured or created through digital means. In today's technological world, your cell phone is also a professional camera with advanced formatting options, enabling you to share photos instantly on social media and in texts and emails. Adding photos and screenshots in PowerPoint can be just as effective. Those saved files can be at your fingertips to add to your presentation. One good option is to use the Pictures feature to add an image to your PowerPoint presentation, either from your device or from the internet. You can also add a stock image, a pre-existing photograph or illustration that you can purchase for use in websites, brochures, presentations, advertisements, and other forms of media. Stock images are created by professional photographers and illustrators and are usually sold through online stock image agencies. These images can be used by anyone who buys the rights to use them, rather than having to commission a photo or illustration specifically for their project. Stock images can be used to supplement or enhance a presentation, brochure, or website by adding relevant and interesting visual elements. They can also be used to illustrate a point or idea by providing an image that represents a concept or feeling. Stock images can save time and money, avoiding the need to create new images specifically for your project. Stock photos are often fairly generic and not specific to a location or brand. For example, you can use a stock photo of a team working in an office environment to illustrate teamwork in the workplace. Many stock photos are considered to be available in the public domain and therefore are free to use, although this is not true of all stock photos. Be sure you keep copyright issues and licensing requirements in mind when using stock photos in your presentation. You can find websites of stock photos such as Vecteezy or Shutterstock. Some companies may have licenses or accounts with these websites. Some stock photo websites focus on specific styles and types of photography, such as photos showcasing diverse groups of people. To personalize my life in a snapshot, add 2 photos from your personal collection to the last slide. To add a photo from your computer to a PowerPoint slide, follow these steps. Open PowerPoint and select the slide on which you want to add the photo. Click on the Insert tab in the ribbon at the top of the screen, Figure 627. In the Images command group, click on Picture, then select this device. This means that you will be inserting a picture from your computer. If you want to add a picture from your phone, you can email the photo to yourself and download it to your computer. If you want to use a picture from the internet, again, download the picture and save it to your computer. A window will appear, allowing you to browse your computer for the photo you want to add. Navigate to the folder where the photo is located, select it, and then click the Insert button, Figure 628. The photo will be inserted onto the slide. You can then move it around by clicking and dragging it to the desired position. You can also resize the photo by clicking and dragging the handle's small squares around the edges of the photo, Figure 629. A PowerPoint screenshot of the editor, clicking Insert, Images, Pictures, and then Insert Picture from this device in a slide presentation. The slide contains no images, Figure 627. PowerPoint also gives users the option to access stock photos or online pictures directly from the Insert Picture menu. Used with permission from Microsoft. A screenshot of a PowerPoint Insert Picture pane displays thumbnail images with file names located in Desktop Photos and an Insert button highlighted at the bottom right. Figure 628. After you locate the image file on your device, choose Insert to place the image on the slide. Used with permission from Microsoft. A screenshot of the Picture Format tab selected in PowerPoint and an image being inserted into a slide. The handle's small circles around the edges of the photo are highlighted. Figure 629. Once you have placed the image, you can resize it and move it on the slide. Used with permission from Microsoft. To format the picture, first select it with your cursor and then use the options under the Picture Format tab, such as cropping, adjusting brightness and contrast, and adding a border. The Picture Format tab only shows up if the picture is selected. When you are finished, save your presentation by clicking on the File menu and selecting Save. By following these steps, you can add photos from your history that will be shared with WorldCorp's team. The Picture option supports all picture formats. Notice that when any of the 3 pictures are highlighted selected, the Picture Format tab opens, as shown in Figure 630. This new ribbon tab will appear all the way on the right end of the ribbon. The first command group, Adjust, lets you adjust and add corrections to the actual picture, such as its color, brightness, and transparency. The last command group in this ribbon, Size, is helpful to know. The Size group within the Picture Format ribbon contains a feature called Crop, which is available in most Microsoft Office programs. A screenshot of the Picture Format tab in PowerPoint selected with the Adjust includes corrections, color, artistic effects, transparency, and size includes crop, height, width command groups highlighted. Figure 630. The Picture Format ribbon opens automatically when you select any kind of image. Used with permission from Microsoft. Having the ability to crop a picture to a preferred size can be a time saver. You no longer need to find a perfect image, but only a piece of the image that is perfect for your needs. Notice in Figure 631A how much ice is in the picture. The ice skates appear small in relation to the entire slide. By cropping some of the ice out of the picture, then enlarging the image to fit the space, Figure 631B, you can emphasize what you want your audience to see. Image A shows text on an orange background and a black-white image of ice skates on the ice. B, the same slide is shown with the image of the ice skates enlarged. Figure 6. 31 parts A and B show a before and after example of how a picture can be cropped to expand the focal point. Used with permission from Microsoft. Adding text. A great way to add a well-placed description of an image is to insert a text box. Let's add a text box to your My Life in a Snapshot presentation, as shown in Figure 632. To add a text box, open the PowerPoint presentation to the slide where you want to insert the text box. Click on the Insert tab in the top menu. In the text section, click the Text Box button. Click and drag on the slide to create the text box. Type or paste your text into the text box that describes each photo that you selected to share with the WorldCorp team. Text is visible on an orange background at the left and a black-white image of ice skates on the ice at the right. Above the image, a text box is added. Figure 6.32. By default, text boxes will not have visible borders unless you choose to add them. This gives a seamless look when placed next to or on top of an image. Used with permission from Microsoft. You can use the Shape Format tab to customize the text box, such as changing the font, color, or size of the text, just as you did when adding text to existing text boxes provided by PowerPoint in the various defined layouts. Once finished, you can move the text box around by clicking and dragging it, much like any other object or image within the slide. Adding symbols. You can add symbols to a PowerPoint slide to enhance the visual appeal of your presentation and to make it more engaging. Symbols can include anything from emojis to arrows to creative shapes, like hearts. You can use symbols to represent different ideas or concepts, to emphasize certain points, or to create a visual hierarchy, arranging the elements of your design according to their level of importance. The purpose of visual hierarchy is to guide the viewer's eye to the most important information or elements first, then to less important information. It's a good idea to use symbols sparingly, and only when they add value to your presentation so they don't become distracting. This first presentation doesn't require the addition of a symbol, but the steps for adding one to a slide are as follows. Open the PowerPoint slide where you want to add the symbol. Click on the Insert tab in the top menu. In the Illustrations command group, click the Symbol button. A menu will appear with a selection of symbols. Choose the symbol you want to use and click on it to add it to the slide. Note that these steps may vary slightly depending on the version of PowerPoint you are using. In some versions, Symbols is its own command group on the ribbon. You can also use the Format tab to customize the symbol by changing its size, color, or shape. It is helpful to know the most common types of symbols that you can use in a PowerPoint presentation. Icons. Simple, graphic symbols that you can use to represent concepts or ideas, such as an icon of a light bulb to represent an idea or an icon of a person to represent a customer. Arrows. Used to direct attention, to show cause and effect, or to indicate a process. Emojis. Used to add a personal touch or to create an emotional impact. Shapes can include simple symbols such as check marks, stars, and hearts. They can be used to emphasize a point or to indicate a positive or negative aspect. Always note that the symbols you use in your PowerPoint presentation should be appropriate for the context, audience, and purpose of the presentation. Adding equations. Another feature to consider inserting in PowerPoint slides are designed equations. An equation is a mathematical statement that shows the relationship between two or more quantities using mathematical symbols and operators. Equations are used to describe a wide range of physical, biological, and economic phenomena, and are central to many areas of science and engineering. Simply click on the option on the Insert tab and select from a list of drop-down options. Note that the equation option will be grayed out unless your cursor is active on the slide canvas. A new tab, Equations, will appear on the ribbon, revealing many options for inserting and editing equations. Adding an equation to a slide in PowerPoint can enable you to represent complex mathematical concepts in a clear and concise manner, making it easier for your audience to follow your presentation. Equations can convey a level of technical expertise and professionalism, which can be especially important in the STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They can be used to emphasize certain points in your presentation, such as key formulas or important calculations. Using equations to support your arguments can increase the credibility of your presentation and give your audience more confidence in your claims. Additionally, you can use PowerPoint to create interactive equations that allow the audience to manipulate variables, a useful option in fields like education and training. You will not be asked to add an equation to my life in a snapshot. However, it is important to remember that when adding anything, even equations, to your PowerPoint slides, they should be formatted correctly and should be used in a way that supports the overall message of your presentation. The process for inserting and editing equations is covered in more detail in the chapter on document preparation. Adding word art. In PowerPoint, word art can add visual interest to a slide by using different font styles, colors, and effects that are pre-built and designed for maximum impact. This can make your presentation more engaging and memorable for your audience. Word art can be used to emphasize important points or quotes in your presentation, making them stand out from the rest of the text, and allowing for more creative expression than a simple text box. For example, you can create shapes, bend text, and add different effects to make your text more appealing than what is offered in a simple text box. Word art can be used to give your presentation a consistent look and feel, which can be especially important when creating presentations for work or business purposes, as the exaggerated font is easy to duplicate across different slides. Additionally, word art can be used to create a visual hierarchy, making it easier for people with visual impairments to read your slide. Now, let's put this tool into action, as seen in Figure 6.33. Start by selecting the fourth slide, Goals, to work on. This slide tells the audience about your short-term and long-term goals within the coming year at WorldCorp. To clearly separate the goals, we will use word art to change the headings for each. Start by highlighting the heading Long Term. Select Insert Word Art and then choose a style. Once selected, word art will appear in the center of the slide. Delete the original text box. Select and drag over the word art text in place of the original heading. Repeat these steps for short term using a contrasting style choice, Figure 6.34. Word art is selected from the text command group and displays 4 rows of different styles of letters for selection. In the slide, a text box shows with the text inside highlighted. Figure 6.33. Word art can enhance your text beyond simple formatting, adding elements such as gradients, fills, and shadows. Used with permission from Microsoft. In the slide, 2 headers are displayed in 2 different styles. One is pink-filled, outlined in dark pink, and the other is white-filled, outlined in dark pink. Figure 6.34. Giving slightly different styles to long-term and short-term helps differentiate the lists. Used with permission from Microsoft. Word art should be used sparingly and only when it adds value to your presentation. It's also important to make sure that the word art doesn't distract from the main message of your slide. Always consider if a text box is more appropriate due to the length or positioning of the statement. In addition, consider if the provided text needs to be formatted. Shape Format tab. You can easily create and change word art within the Shape Format tab. To format word art in PowerPoint, open the PowerPoint slide where you want to format the word art. Click on the word art that you want to format. Click on the Shape Format tab in the top menu. Use the options in the Text Effects and Word Art Styles sections to change the font, color, and effects of the word art. Additionally, you can use the Text Fill and Text Outline to change the fill and outline color of the word art. There are numerous options to explore and evaluate on what may work best. Use the text box to change the size and shape of the text box that contains the word art. Use Arrange to change the position of the word art in the slide, and use 3D Rotation to rotate the word art, as seen in Figure 6.35. As with all additions and changes, use word art sparingly, only when it enhances the overall look and feel of your presentation and adds emphasis to certain points, but not every point. A Format Shape pane is open with 3D rotation highlighted and various presets and rotations available. In the slide, the text is shown at an upward angle from left to right. Figure 6.35. Rotating your word art formatted text gives a dramatic appearance. Use caution when employing this feature, as it can sometimes be too informal for business presentations. Used with permission from Microsoft. Adding illustrations. Much like adding images, illustrations can have a lasting impact in a presentation. An illustration is an image that's handmade, so to speak, using either tangible elements such as pens and pencils or digital elements such as media. In this case, please take note of understanding the copyrights of the original work before selecting illustrations. In this section, we will walk through how to add a star to your presentation along with exploring some of the various illustration options. There are several types of illustrations that can be inserted in PowerPoint, including shapes, basic shapes such as rectangles, circles, and arrows, as well as more complex shapes like flowchart symbols and callout shapes. Icons, simple, symbolic images that can be used to represent concepts or ideas. Charts, bar charts, line charts, and pie charts that can be used to present data in a visual way. Smart art, iridescent graphics that can be used to create diagrams, lists, and other types of illustrations. 3D models, models that allow you to rotate and zoom in on an object to show it from different angles. These types of illustrations can be used to make slides more engaging and memorable, and to effectively convey the intended message. Now we will take a closer look at shapes, icons, and the use of charts. Shapes. To add a shape to a slide in PowerPoint, first click on the Insert tab in the ribbon at the top of the PowerPoint window. Click the Shapes button in the Illustrations command group. Select the desired shape from the drop-down menu. In the next step of your project, you will be looking for the shape of a star, figure 636. Click and drag on the slide to create the shape. Shapes can be resized and positioned to enhance text and images on slides. Now it's your turn to add a shape to my life in a snapshot. When selecting the area to draw the shape, consider that it can be formatted later on to fit more exactly. It may take several attempts and practice to get the hang of working with these digital drawing tools. Simply select the corners of the shape and position the shape according to the location in Figure 637. Screenshot of the Shapes button selected in the Illustrations command group of the Insert tab of PowerPoint. A pane opens to display various lines, shapes, and images for selection. Figure 636 PowerPoint includes a large inventory of shapes that can be used to enhance your slides' visual appeal. Used with permission from Microsoft. In PowerPoint, a red star is inserted into a slide. Circles are visible at the corners and middle sides of the image, and a curved arrow is visible at the top. Figure 637. Dragging any of the dots will allow you to resize your shape. Select and hold the curved arrow to rotate your shape. Used with permission from Microsoft. Icons. Icons can be used in PowerPoint slides to enhance the visual appeal and convey information in a more exact manner. An icon is a small graphic symbol that represents a specific function, feature, or tool. Icons can be added much like shapes by selecting the icon you want and then drawing it on the slide. These, too, can be resized and formatted after being placed on the slide. Icons are slightly different from shapes in that they are intended to be universal messaging tools used to illustrate a point or concept for your audience. You might use a compass icon to indicate direction, or a heart icon to indicate emotion. You can also use icons as bullet points to make your slides more visually interesting and easier to read, or you can add them to diagrams and flowcharts to help clarify the meaning of different elements instead of using text. You can use pre-made icons from the PowerPoint library or from the internet, or you can also create your own icons by combining different shapes and formatting them as you want, using different colors, sizes, and other options to convey your message effectively. Chart. PowerPoint provides various types of charts, including column, bar, line, pie, and scatter charts. To add charts to your slides, go to the Insert tab, Illustrations command group, Figure 638. You can customize your charts with formatting options such as color, labels, and legends. Additionally, you can import data from external sources such as Excel and Microsoft Access to create your chart in PowerPoint. This is another element you won't need to use in your My Life in a Snapshot presentation, but it will be a useful tool when presenting data. Chart is selected in the Illustrations command group and opens to an option pane. Column is selected and opens to a pane of various 2D and 3D column and bar chart options. Figure 638. Inserting a chart allows you to provide a visual representation of numbers and data in your presentation. Used with permission from Microsoft. Depending on your settings, inserting a chart may automatically open Excel so that you can input data to create your chart. Experiment with this process so that you can better understand how to create your data, series labels, and categories. SmartArt. SmartArt can be effectively used in a PowerPoint slide to visually represent information or ideas. It can be used to create diagrams, flowcharts, organizational charts, and other types of graphic organizers. To use SmartArt in a PowerPoint slide, you can select the Insert tab, then click the SmartArt button. This will open a menu of different SmartArt options to choose from, as seen in Figure 639. A screenshot of Choose a SmartArt graphic window with all selected. Various lists are available in the middle pane and examples of the selected lists are visible on the right. Figure 639 SmartArt offers a list of options to select from with a preview screen on the right side. Used with permission from Microsoft. Once you have selected the desired SmartArt option, you can enter the text or information that you want to include in the graphic, as you would in a text box. You can also customize the appearance of the SmartArt by changing the typical colors, shapes, and layouts. Each option is designed toward a particular function, such as showing a linear process, like a flowchart, or relationships in a company, like an organizational chart. Take your time looking through these options to ensure that the intent matches the design. 3D models. One of the newest options that PowerPoint is offering is adding 3D models to a slide. A 3D model in PowerPoint is a digital representation of a three-dimensional object that can be inserted into a presentation and manipulated to show different views and perspectives. 3D models can be effectively used in a PowerPoint slide to add visual interest and help convey complex information. They can be used to demonstrate products, architecture, or other real-world objects in a more engaging and interactive way. To use a 3D model in a PowerPoint slide, you can select the Insert tab, then click the 3D Models button, as seen in Figure 640. This will open a menu of different 3D models to choose from, or you can also import your own 3D models. Once you have inserted a 3D model into your slide, you can rotate, pan, and zoom the model to show different angles and perspectives. Additionally, you can customize the lighting, shadow, and material of the model to suit your needs. A 3D model can help the audience to better understand the product or the object you're showcasing by capturing the exact angle or motion that is called on. 3D models is selected from the Illustrations command group in the Insert tab opening to insert 3D models from stock 3D models. An online 3D models pane opens to categories for selection. Figure 640 by selecting one of the categories, a unique list of options can be reviewed and considered for use. Many of the graphics show animation and movement, used with permission from Microsoft. A good thing to note when deciding to work with 3D models: you will need to have a version of PowerPoint that supports 3D models, such as PowerPoint 2019 or later. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to discuss similarities between Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint. Review differences between Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint. Explain the roles Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint play in a workplace. My Life in a Snapshot was intended to be a solo presentation, so you had no need to assemble a team. But what if you need to design a presentation on a different topic that does require a team? What if, for example, the presentation was a proposal for a new marketing campaign that you and 4 others have been working on? Is Microsoft PowerPoint still the best option? This section will introduce Google Slides as another tool you can use to create and build presentations. Slides is the presentation application offered in the Google suite of products, which is a cloud-based system. To better understand the tool and its importance, let's get started with the similarities it holds with PowerPoint. Similarities between Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint. PowerPoint and Slides are both software programs that allow you to create and edit slideshows for presentations. When you begin to create a presentation with Slides, you will be presented with several themes and templates suitable for various applications in business, school projects, and general use. These design templates can be customized with color, text, and style. Figure 641 shows Slides when first opening the program and selecting a new presentation. The default, a blank presentation, is circled. Next to the blank presentation option are the different themes and templates. Screenshot of a new presentation window template gallery with options for blank as well as other types of presentations, such as prototyping, consulting, pitch, and status report. Figure 6.41. The different templates and themes have descriptive titles such as Status Report to help users choose an appropriate one. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. As in PowerPoint, once a presentation is either opened or begun in Slides, you will see a ribbon with tabs and options that are comparable with those in PowerPoint. In some cases, the programs even use identical word choices, such as the File, View, and Insert menus. It is a good idea to review the tabs in Slides before beginning a project. Look for the numerous overlaps in terminology and the familiar icons Slides shares with PowerPoint. However, one distinct feature of Slides is that it offers drop-down boxes from each tab rather than a changing ribbon, as in PowerPoint. There are other similarities between Slides and PowerPoint. For example, the thumbnails of the slides run down the left side with the highlighted slide in the center of the frame and tabs across the top of the sidebar for navigation purposes. Both programs offer options for adding new slides, changing layouts, selecting design elements, and inserting text images. Both programs can create professional, high-quality electronic presentations. As technology continues to evolve, both programs adapt and continue to offer user-friendly tools. In general, both tools allow users to add text, images, videos, charts, graphs, and links to any slide. Pick a custom font while selecting and using pre-made themes. Use basic transitions between slides and print to PDF. Collaborate with team members to greater or lesser degrees. Differences between Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint. Understanding some of the key differences between Slides and PowerPoint will help you decide which tool to use and when it can be most helpful while working at WorldCorp. To start, PowerPoint is a standalone software program that users can purchase or access through a provider such as a school, a company, or an organization to which they belong. Standalone software programs are typically installed on a computer's hard drive and can be launched by double-clicking an icon on the desktop or by selecting the program from the list of installed programs in the operating system. Standalone software programs are self-contained and do not rely on external resources, such as a connection to the internet or services to function. They are referred to as offline capable. The application or app is just a click away for the user to begin their work, regardless of their internet connection. As the program has advanced and added new features, it has expanded to include online collaboration. PowerPoint now offers users online experiences through the combination of Microsoft OneDrive and Microsoft 365. Slides, by contrast, is a web-based software application that is part of the Google suite of productivity tools. As covered in the chapter on Essentials of Software Applications for Business, web-based software programs are hosted on a remote server and accessed over the internet using a web browser, rather than being installed on a computer's hard drive. This makes it possible for users to access the software from any device with an internet connection, as the software and data are stored remotely and not on the user's local machine. This helps ensure that there are no delays or negative experiences such as slowing down a user's internet connection. They are often designed to be more lightweight, with fewer features compared with their desktop counterparts. As a cloud-based application, Slides offers a unique advantage to offline applications when collaborating in a team. As with other Google programs, users can work on the same file in real time across multiple computers. This facilitates collaboration and eliminates the need to pass files back and forth between team members. However, Google does offer an offline option for users as well. When using Google's web browser, Chrome, users can install a browser extension that allows its online Google programs, such as Slides and Docs, to download the applications to their local computer, allowing users to work on their projects even without access to the internet. Additionally, Chrome operating systems typically come with other Google offline programs preloaded. Google offline functionality is available for some mobile devices and most desktop operating systems. It's possible to use Google offline for some mobile devices and most desktop operating systems. The most prominent difference between Slides and PowerPoint lies in their origins as a cloud-based application versus a desktop application, respectively. Slides has a minimal appearance and relatively fewer features, keeping things simple across their programs for ultimate user ease. Its goal is accessibility and collaboration in an online environment. In contrast, PowerPoint offers more robust features with more capabilities. In this respect, Slides works better than PowerPoint on mobile application devices. However, it is still optimal to use a computer when creating a presentation in either program. Using a cell phone or a tablet poses challenges for users who want to harness the full potential of PowerPoint. To maximize the user experience, PowerPoint is recommended for use on a laptop or desktop computer due to its overall capability and processing needs. Having a larger screen with a more robust computer processor can make it easier to see subtle editorial changes or to handle large file size changes to a high-resolution image. How Microsoft PowerPoint and Google Slides function in a workplace. Several features of Slides make it a unique and intriguing piece of software to have alongside PowerPoint. Both programs are commonly used in workplace settings, but may be used with different goals and audiences in mind. At WorldCorp, different teams use different tools in ways that work best for them. Often, team members find that a project requires a combination of both programs. A best practice for a collaborative presentation would be for a team to start working in Slides. Team members can work offline if they choose, or they can work together online constructing slides. Once the rough outline of the presentation has been accomplished and agreed upon through online collaboration, the slides presentation can be saved as a PowerPoint file. Conveniently, Slides offers a way to quickly export presentations as PowerPoint files. A member of the team who is well-versed in PowerPoint and digital presentation development can then edit the slides if needed. They can work offline to unify and format each slide into a cohesive slideshow. Conversely, you can also open a PowerPoint file in Slides. However, note that because Slides is less feature-rich than PowerPoint, you may not be able to preserve your slideshow exactly. Let's look at converting the saved PowerPoint presentation that you have been working on, My Life in a Snapshot, to Slides. First, upload your PowerPoint presentation to your Google Drive. Then, open Slides. The PowerPoint most likely will be listed as a recently saved file on the opening screen. Select the file and begin. Figure 6.42 shows the warning that Slides wants to issue before you start editing. Some PowerPoint features can't be displayed and will be dropped if you make any changes, appears in a dialog box after selecting the saved file. There are fewer design options with Slides, and Google does not include all of the features that PowerPoint does, such as word art. This means that anything that was formatted as word art in PowerPoint will not appear correctly in the Google Slides version, or may even be deleted entirely. For this project, please go ahead and dismiss the warning to begin. A screenshot of a PPTX file name highlighted opening to a warning, PowerPoint features can't be displayed and will be dropped if you make any changes. With an arrow pointing to the Dismiss button, Figure 6.42, when opening a saved PowerPoint presentation, Slides warns users of the potential loss in functionality. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. You may want to do this conversion process if you want to open your PowerPoint file for online collaboration. For instance, if your PowerPoint does not contain too many complex features, converting the file to Slides is usually an easy process that results in a Slides presentation that looks extremely similar to your original PowerPoint. Sometimes, your choice of which program to use is determined by the software ecosystem that your company is part of. Workplaces will often choose one type of program, Google, Microsoft, or another large brand, to use at all levels of their company to streamline usage and file types. Preference and ecosystem requirements will typically be the key drivers in determining which tool to use for your presentation, but once you have learned one of the applications, you will have a faster learning curve when it comes to learning the other. Because Microsoft has traditionally dominated the office workplace, applications like Word and PowerPoint are more common in business settings. However, with schools and small businesses looking to offer free and affordable options for newer users, for example, Chromebooks are required in some classrooms, Slides continues to expand its reach. Its ease of use can attract those new to working with digital presentations or collaborating with teams on a project. Knowing and being confident in both programs removes the walls of an ecosystem, particularly if it is easy to change files from one type to the other. As we work in ever-diverse workgroups, the ability to move from one program to another becomes increasingly important. Learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to modify font, change spacing options, modify borders and lines, understand how editing layouts works. Google Slides is a successful program that continues to grow in popularity, particularly with the rise of mobile technology, the use of digital tools in the classroom, and an increase in remote workplaces. At WorldCorp, you will need to know how to use both Microsoft PowerPoint and Slides and understand the strengths and weaknesses of both programs. To become familiar with Slides, we will spend some time working with the tools and options on your existing project, My Life in a Snapshot. How to modify and edit text. As with any document, different fonts can convey different emotions and styles. Using a bold or italic font can help to emphasize certain words or phrases, while a different font can be used to create a specific style or theme for the presentation. If your presentation is for a business or organization, it may be important to use a specific font that aligns with the company's branding guidelines. WorldCorp prefers the Oswald font for external documents. If text boxes are being used, be sure to modify each text box to the company standard. Although this choice may feel limiting, this approach drives the consistency of brand messaging for WorldCorp team members. You may recall that converting a PowerPoint file to a Slides file may result in some changes. Take a look at slide number 4, Goals, in Figure 643 and Figure 644. You will notice in Figure 644 that the word art formatting used for short-term and long-term has been removed because word art is not a feature of Slides. In the slide, two headers are displayed in two different styles. One is pink-filled, outlined in dark pink, and the other is white-filled, outlined in dark pink. Figure 643 in PowerPoint, the word art feature allows users to add formatting to text as shown in the headers on this slide, used with permission from Microsoft. In the slide, two headers are displayed in two different styles. One is pink-filled and the other is white-filled. The fonts in the two lists are different from each other. Figure 644, when converting PowerPoint slides to Google Slides, some formatting like word art is not supported and will be removed. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. The headings on the Slides version are rather light-colored and hard to read against the gray background. We can revisit the option of changing those to a new font color in the future. However, rather than modify the headings again now, we will walk through how to modify the text below each heading to the company's preferred Oswald font. Please follow the 4-step directions and refer to Figure 645. Highlight the text within the text box. Select the drop-down menu. Find Oswald in the list of fonts. Select the Oswald font. This should alter the highlighted text. Repeat for the text listed under Short Term. In the slide, text is highlighted, and in the font selection on the toolbar, Oswald is selected in the recent as well as in the font list. Figure 645. When you select a font from Google's drop-down list, that font will also appear at the top of your recent fonts list. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. Modifying the font can help to ensure consistency throughout the presentation and make it look more professional. Some fonts may not be compatible with all devices or may not be accessible for people with visual impairments. Modifying the font can help to ensure that the presentation is accessible to all viewers and can be viewed correctly on different devices. However, note that the list of font options is drastically limited as compared with PowerPoint. How to modify line spacing. To modify the spacing of the font in a Slides presentation, select the slide where you want to modify the font spacing. In My Life in a Snapshot, there's no need to modify spacing, but this option may come in handy when working with large font sizes and unique font styles. To get started, select the text box or shape that contains the text you want to modify. Click the Format option in the top menu bar. In the Format menu, select line and paragraph spacing. You can then choose the spacing you want, such as single, double, or custom, which allows you to enter a specific value. Make sure that paragraph spacing is set to 0. If not, spacing may continue to look off. Once the selection is made with the desired changes, click the OK button to apply them to the selected text. How to modify borders and lines. An additional tool that can come in handy is the ability to format borders and lines. In general, format refers to the way something is arranged or structured, usually in terms of its appearance, organization, or presentation. This term is used in a variety of contexts and can refer to various aspects of a document, file, or image, such as its layout, font, color scheme, page margins, and overall design. When formatting a border, you may want to consider the color, weight, type, dashes, and decorations. To do this, open the slide where you want to modify the border of a text box. Select the text box. It will appear highlighted in blue. Click on the Format tab at the top of the screen. In the drop-down menu, select Borders and Lines. You can then choose the type of border you want, such as solid, dotted, or dashed. You can also choose the color, weight, and transparency of the border. Once the selection has been made with the desired changes applied, click the OK button to save the changes. How to modify the layout of a slide. As in PowerPoint, each time text or images are added to a particular slide, the size and positioning of objects may need to be adjusted or changed. One option in slides is to change the overall layout of the slide in the slide menu. The Slide tab is a drop-down menu that allows users to create, edit, and organize slides within your presentation. Figure 6.46 shows the list of options from the drop-down menu. A screenshot of the slide option with selections for New Slide, Duplicate Slide, Delete Slide, Skip Slide, Move Slide, Change Background, Apply Layout, Transition, Edit Theme, and Change Theme. Figure 6.46. The slide menu gives you tools to customize your slides with themes, transitions, and background modifications. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. Notice again the similarities between PowerPoint and Slides. PowerPoint's Home tab contains many of the same features that are available in the drop-down menu of the Slide tab in Slides. The Slide menu gives users a wide range of tools and options for creating and organizing slides in a presentation, so you can create engaging and effective presentations that can be easily shared and viewed by others. The Slide menu also contains an interesting feature, Apply Layout. This tool provides a default layout to the key elements on your slide. In addition to using the tools and features in the slide menu, you can also simply select an object, image, text box, or border, click and hold to move, then drag the object around the screen. Every object also comes with positioning points around the edges of the object to resize and adjust the shape, or to rotate and spin the object to the desired positioning. Take your time with these features. A special option for text box objects is that they will offer a helpful shrink to fit option for overflow text when selected. You can also use the Arrange menu to change the layout of your slides. This menu offers options for bringing objects forward and back, centering and aligning, and rotating objects. As with many of its features, Slides has more limited options for formatting, particularly text boxes. While PowerPoint will provide adjustment lines to help position the size and placement of similar objects next to one another, Slides does not offer these tools. However, Slides has many advantages over PowerPoint when it comes to ease of use, accessibility, and collaboration. Both tools are useful in different contexts, learning objectives. By the end of this section, you will be able to insert images and offer tips on best practices, insert and format a shape in a slide, insert a table into a slide, insert a chart into a slide, discuss why a diagram can be helpful to a slide presentation, add special characters, discuss how and why a link should be added to a slide presentation, explain the process of adding video to a slideshow. Adding visuals and features to Google Slides can enhance the overall presentation and make it more engaging for your audience. Much like Microsoft PowerPoint, there are numerous reasons why it's important to focus on the visual aspect of a presentation that your audience will experience. To start, visuals can help convey information more effectively, such as images, charts, and diagrams conveying complex information in a way that is easy to understand, making the presentation more effective. This also addresses a variety of learning styles, as some individuals are more visual than audio learners. Adding these features to a slides presentation is fundamentally similar to how they are added in PowerPoint. Let's revise the My Life in a Snapshot presentation a little further. Because Slides does not have the same designs and themes that we find in PowerPoint, let's choose a theme that presents a professional appearance. As we reviewed in the section on similarities between Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint, choosing a theme in Slides is quite straightforward. Let's choose the Swiss theme, see Figure 647. Now that we've chosen the theme we want to use, let's move to inserting images and adjusting the rest of the presentation in Slides. A screenshot of the Insert tab opening to image and these options. Upload from computer, search the web, drive, photos by URL, camera. A themes pane on the right displays various options. Figure 647. This theme has a completely different background and layout from our theme in PowerPoint. Slides automatically adjusted the image and text to fit. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. Inserting an image. Our presentation already includes an image of a mirror, but if you want to update or change the picture, you can do so through Google Drive. Once your image is saved to Drive, we can easily insert the photo into the presentation. Slides' streamlined approach makes it simple to add imagery to slides. To add your new picture to the first slide, start by making sure that you have the first slide selected in your slides presentation. Click on the Insert menu at the top of the screen. Select Image from the drop-down menu. You can then choose to upload an image from your computer or search for it in Drive or select a photo from Google Photos. Select Drive and select the recent profile picture you took on your smartphone. You can then move and resize the image as needed. Keep in mind that copyrighted and trademarked images are not to be used in professional presentations. Take time to review the laws that apply and make sure that a basic understanding of where the images are derived from is taken into consideration when adding images to a presentation. Spotlight on ethics. Why is education using copyrighted material? Speaking in general terms, using copyrighted images for teaching and education is considered fair use. Fair use is not always clear and must be decided on a case-by-case basis using the 4 factors presented in U.S. Code, Title 17, Chapter 1, Section 107. Purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of a commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes. Nature of the copyrighted work, amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. Effect of the use on the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. In general, it is considered fair use to use a copyrighted work in an educational setting, such as a college classroom or during a group tutoring session. But does this fair use extend to the workplace? It depends. An internal training session is a different scenario from a client-facing business presentation. Consider the preceding guidelines each time you want to use a copyrighted image and see which ones, if any, apply to you. To be safe, remember that it is always permissible to use a public domain image. Inserting a shape. You can choose from a variety of shapes, such as rectangles, circles, arrows, and more to add to any slide in a slideshow. These design elements are useful and easy to adjust within slides. Once you have selected a shape from the Insert tab, see the options in Figure 648, click and drag on the side to create the desired size, Figure 649. You can then move, resize, and customize the shape as desired. A screenshot of Insert selected from the Google Slides tab opens to a pane with shape selected. At the right, a pane with shape selected opens to a variety of different shapes. Figure 648. The drop-down window of the Insert tab in Slides has the option Shapes listed. On further selection of shapes, a large variety of useful options appears. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. A screenshot of a Google slide inserting a shape. The shape displays squares at the corners as well as in the middle of all the sides and a circle at the top. Figure 649. When you select the desired shape, you can resize it by dragging the outline of the shape. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. One way to effectively use a shape in Slides is to create a flowchart to illustrate a process or workflow. Using shapes also offers more customization than simply inserting a diagram. Once you have added the initial shape, you can then add a connector, such as an arrow. Then, you can use the formatting options to customize its appearance, such as changing its color or adding a border, as seen in Figure 650. You can also insert a text box inside each of the rectangular or square shapes in your flowchart. In Slides, text boxes do not automatically come with a border, but borders can be added. Shapes can be used to create any number of diagrams, illustrations, and other types of visual aids to support your presentations. In the section on inserting a diagram, we will learn more about using the preset diagrams in slides. Screenshot of 3 rounded boxes in a row with gray arrows between them pointing to the right being inserted into a Google slide. Sizing options are visible on the insertion box. Figure 6.50. These shapes show a simple example of a flowchart, but you could arrange the shapes in different ways or add extra branches to the chart to represent your custom workflow. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. Inserting a table. Tables are an important tool for displaying information because they organize and present data in a clear and concise manner to an audience. They are useful for displaying large amounts of data in a compact format, making it easy for the viewer to compare and contrast different values, as well as show how different variables are related to one another. For a slideshow, it may be best to use tables to showcase summary statistics, such as means, medians, and standard deviations, which provide a quick overview of most datasets. You do not want to overwhelm your audience with an overly detailed table with too many numbers. In general, tables are an effective tool for displaying information because they provide the ability to display and understand complex data sets in a concise way. They are widely used in fields such as finance, statistics, business, and scientific research to communicate data and results. To add a table to a slide's presentation, select the slide where you want to add it. Click on the Insert menu at the top of the screen. Select Table from the drop-down menu and choose the number of rows and columns you want for your table. Once you have selected the number of rows and columns, the table will be created and added to the slide. You may adjust or move the table as needed within the slide. Use the options in the toolbar to format the table, like changing the color, size, or merge cells when required. Make sure the data is clear to view. Try not to compress too much data into a single table by making the font too small to read and easily take in. Inserting a chart. Data is important in decision-making because it provides a basis for understanding the current state of a problem or situation, and can be used to identify patterns, trends, and relationships that can inform the decision-making process. Your audience may expect to see data in a slideshow, particularly if it concerns finance or business, as data plays a crucial role in decision-making by providing the information needed to make informed and well-informed decisions. Charts can be a perfect vessel to display this information to audiences. The following will walk through the basic steps of adding a chart. Although your My Life in a Snapshot presentation doesn't require the support of data, knowing how to create one will be helpful for future business presentations. Follow these steps to add a chart to a slides presentation. Open your slides presentation and select the slide where you want to add the chart. Click on the Insert menu at the top of the screen. Select Chart from the drop-down menu. Choose the type of chart you want to add, such as a bar chart, line chart, pie chart, and so on. Once you have selected the type of chart, you will be prompted to enter the data for the chart. You can also select data from a Google Sheets document. Once the data has been entered, the chart will be added. Customizing the chart through options can be accomplished in the toolbar of slides. Such custom changes could be altering the colors, adding a title, and editing data. Like most objects, you can also move and resize the chart as needed. Inserting a diagram. You may have noticed after attending numerous presentations how helpful diagrams can be for the audience. A diagram is a graphical representation of information or data. Diagrams can be used to visually communicate complex information, ideas, or concepts in a simple and intuitive way. A diagram can help all types of audiences understand a concept by visually representing complex information in a simple and easy-to-understand proven format. Diagrams can help to clarify relationships and connections between different components or elements of a concept, and can make it easier to identify patterns, trends. Additionally, diagrams can be used to highlight important information and make it more prominent, making it easier for the audience to retain and recall the information later. This drives the purpose home in your presentations. We already learned about how to use shapes to create a custom diagram, like a flowchart. But Slides offers many preset diagrams that can show relationships and processes in different ways. These can be easier to use than shapes because the diagrams are already created for you. To add a diagram to a slides presentation, click on the Insert menu at the top of the screen. Select Diagram from the drop-down menu and choose the type of diagram you want to add, such as a grid, hierarchy, timeline, process, relationship, or cycle. Each broad option offers several individual options to choose from, all with varying color themes and styles. Once you have selected the desired type of diagram, Slides makes it intuitively easy to complete the diagram by adding content. Take your time to get maximum impact and experiment with different diagrams. With diagrams, you may find that a less is more approach works best when adding to a slide. Inserting special characters. Much like PowerPoint, special characters have a useful effect when added. A special character in Slides is a character or symbol that is not typically found on a keyboard, but can be inserted into a presentation to add visual interest or convey specific meaning. Examples of special characters in Slides include arrows, currency symbols, mathematical symbols, emojis, and various types of punctuation marks. Open any project and select the slide where you want to add a specific special character. Click on the text box or shape where the special character offers the most impact. Then, click on the Insert menu at the top of the screen and select Special Characters from the drop-down menu. A dialog box will appear with a list of special characters, such as currency symbols, mathematical symbols, and more. Inserting a link. For your My Life in a Snapshot presentation, you may not need to provide your audience members with any links, but you might want to include your email address. You can make this appear as a link so that when it is clicked on, it brings the user directly to their email client, like Outlook. This can be useful if a team member has a quick follow-up question after the presentation, or if they just want to send you a welcome message. Remember that the link will only work for them if the presentation has been distributed to them electronically. You can do this by emailing a link to the slides presentation to your audience, or by sharing it as an email attachment. To add a link to your slides presentation, first type in your email address as normal text. In Figure 651, we've added Amir's email address on the title slide below his information. Then, select the Insert tab that provides the link option near the bottom of the drop-down menu. Slides will recognize that it is an email address and add the appropriate hyperlink necessary to launch the email address. In the slide, a text box is selected with an email address highlighted inside. Insert is selected from the toolbar and the pane opens to a selection for link. Figure 651. When a link is live, it will turn bright blue and appear underlined. This lets you know you can click on it. Google Slides is a trademark of Google LLC. You may also want to provide clickable links within your presentation for your own demonstration purposes. For example, you may want to show your audience a new website or a new cloud-based tool. Instead of placing screenshots in your presentation to show these things, you could simply put a link to the content, and then click on the link yourself during your presentation. Doing this should open up the link in a new browser window or tab. Inserting a video. With video sharing and recording platforms like Zoom and YouTube easily accessible, creating and playing videos has never been easier. Adding a short video clip to your presentation can pack a huge punch and is easy to do. Sharing video content may be exactly what you need to emphasize a message in a presentation, perhaps preferable to showing an image or a chart. Be careful not to use a copyrighted video in professional presentations. Review the rules and laws on what constitutes a copyrighted video before adding one to your next presentation. To add a video to a slides presentation, open your slides presentation and select the slide where you want to add the video. Click on the Insert menu at the top of the screen. Select Video from the drop-down menu. You can then choose to upload a video from your computer or search for a video on the internet using the search option. Once you have selected the video, it will be added to your slide. You can then move and resize the video as needed. You can also add a video by pasting a video link from a supported video hosting website such as YouTube, Vimeo, etc., and it will automatically embed the video on the slide. As we move into the chapter on advanced presentation skills, we will focus on more advanced aspects of both PowerPoint and slides. You will learn more key skills for becoming an effective presenter in the next chapter. as well as learn more about the advanced features of PowerPoint and slides, such as customizing themes, creating templates, and enhancing images. We will finalize Amir's My Life in a snapshot presentation in both PowerPoint and in slides.